Welcome to another edition of Mortgage Talks. I'm your host, Adam Hires. Okay, we have another amazing guest on today. As always, we bring great material to you all to grow your business. Remember, if you're a loan officer, real estate agent, you're an insurance agent, home inspector, all these around this industry, you can apply these principles to your business to grow. So don't, if you come across this and you're a real estate agent, you need to listen to this. This is things that are going to help your business grow and blossom. I'll talk about this all the time I tell you what, real estate agents miss the mark so many times because they think, well, man, like these loan officers are coming begging for my business. But you're not going and trying to get referral partners yourself. You're just going straight to the big Z. You pay a lot of money to the big Z, and no, all the way names mentioned out there. You're paying all these money for lead systems, but you're not going out there and getting multipliers that are going to grow your business. So, marketing to and then marketing to those people as well is huge. So not just calling them, there's a lot of things you can do marketing and speaking to your audience, which is not just consumer direct, can be referral partners. So I think, the guest on today can certainly attest to the marketing side of those things that you can apply. Again, it doesn't have to be just your, a loan officer is the only one that can do these things, because the opportunity is there. Whether you're a home inspector, you can do these things. You're a real estate agent, you can do these things. So definitely apply this to your business of how you can grow faster. I was actually just talking to one of my real estate agent buddies of mine, and we're going to go get us a cigar here next week, because I'm going back to Kentucky. Obviously here mission to do 150 loans in a new state, from 0 to 150 loans in a new state, still trying to grow in Kentucky. So I'm like, I need to go show some love to my people in Kentucky, and I need to go. I don't have no cigar buddies here, so I need to go back there and smoke a cigar, have a good bourbon. That's right. I'm not Mr. Perfect. I do have my vices. Just don't go overboard, right? But I don't even, it's not a vice. It's just awesome. I don't care. If you don't like it, oh well. It's the wrong podcast for you. I don't know. But anyway, but I'm going to smoke a cigar with one of my buddies, and he's in real estate, and we're having this conversation, and he left a group, and I was like, hey, why'd you leave? And, he said, well, really it boiled down to, they just wanted me to work the leads and just work these leads. And I had a different vision for my business, which was going and talking to the divorce attorneys, talking to, these other business professionals that can really multiply my business. And he's actually came to my events when I was in Kentucky, and I spoke about this, and I've spoke about this continuously, how to grow your business in so many ways. You can market to people that are not just consumer direct. And he was talking about how he likes to do that and how he wants to that referral based business. And you can do that. Again, it doesn't have to be just phone calls. There's a lot of ways you can get referral based business. That's hip, young, sexy, whatever you want to call it, and not just the phone calls, but the phone calls work too. So he was talking about how to grow his business, and he's like, you know what? I'm diving back in. I'm getting more referrals. I'm getting, better quality people to say, hey, I want to look for a home. And so again, I was like, yes, that's awesome that you're recognizing that. And this is how you want to grow your business. And you out there, again, look at the multipliers. Please look at the multipliers, because there's so many agents out there, and this is loan officers too. I talk to loan officers all the time that are stuck in just the refinance business of just getting online leads. And And man, I tell you what, people, you all out there that are doing all refinances, you can just have it. This gives me a headache anyway. Oh my gosh, the interest rate changed 1/8 of a point. I'm not going to do this anymore. You have a 5% interest rate. Yeah, well, and I know you can do things to you know make them feel better about it and get them to apply and get them to go through, but it's not as fun either. I mean, and getting them online, and you're running this game to where you never know where the interest rates are going to go, and you're doing a lot of one-off. Even if you get them, it's a lot of one-off because you're not. It's more difficult. I'll say that more difficult to make it a really relational type of transaction. It's more of just a transaction. And I'm not saying, so don't argue with me out there. I've had people that are refinancing, they've yeah, cool. But when you get the purchase business and when you get the real referral business, you get multipliers. People feel better. It's all in how people feel. When people feel really good, that's when they really refer you. It's not just, hey, listen, you did a good job. It's how you make them feel. So I can talk on a tangent for hours about that. But how do you want to grow your business? You want to grow it the one-off, or you want to work your database to its highest? And it's all about the follow up and follow through. And I shared this the other day, and I'm not going to mention who it is or what even they do, because if they listen, I don't want to call people out. But here's the deal. And I want you to apply this to yourself and your business. So I share this on one of my pages. I had a business professional that did a good job for me. This is recent. This is very recent. He knew how I go about my business because we talked about it and how I'm always connecting. He does a good job on the project. He sends over the project. It looks good. I use his work. Okay. What did he do afterwards? He sent it over. I text him, great job, thank you. He clicks a thumbs up on the text, nothing back. Okay, nothing back. So I have another project comes up. Guess what happens? I actually called someone else. Not because I was butthurt, not because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna feel, but like I didn't feel, it's like, maybe there's somebody else too. And plus I love partnership. Like, can you get me in front of other people? Hey, are you available? Is this the person I want to, if it doesn't have gratitude, is this somebody that really is going to, that I'm going to always, he's always going to be there when I need him. Okay. So I used somebody else. I actually wasted money because the project didn't go as good. So I actually went back to the other guy because the project wasn't as good. Okay. However, here's another key point. I went back to the other person. We did another project together. He's done a good job again. Same thing happened. No follow-up. Even though I had not a good experience with the other project, this person's done a good job on 2 different projects. Can somebody still take my business? Absolutely, all day. If somebody come over, they could do a good job, and I could feel that they had real passion and they were going to really follow up and say, hey, can I do this? Can I come to this project? Can I do this? Right? They could get my business. And furthermore, he could have asked for business to refer. What could have been a proper follow-up? Right after we did our project, him call and say, hey man, dude, freaking balled out. That was a great job, man. Ask me some questions. Thank you so much. Send me a card. Awesome. Send me something, right? Something to be there, and then follow up probably next couple of weeks, whatever. Something that would be not just like, hey, send me more business. It could be cool. It could be something that would be of benefit to me, something that would make me think, something that would help me in business, something that was of value. He doesn't have to follow me every single week, but he could do it for the first few weeks kind of, and then can continue to follow up after that. Think about the money. And for me, from my standpoint of what the projects I do, could be continuous kind of flow. But again, somebody else has the opportunity to take that business. So I want you to apply that to your business and think about who's done a good job for you in something, but yet the next time you use somebody else. So my point to you all right now is it's not a good enough job to do a good job. And loan officers out there, like I'm going to pick on you because that's who we're talking about. It's not a good enough job to do a good job on the loan. You're supposed to do a good job on the loan. You just think you're supposed to just get the next deal. And here's the hard truth of it. If real estate agents, for example, just used who does a good job, you would never have an opportunity to win their business. So everybody would be set with their lender and that would be it, because there's plenty of people doing a good job. It's not a good enough job doing a good job. So 2 reasons people are not referring you mainly, again, or continuously is 1, lack of follow-up, or 2, gratitude. It's really that simple. Like 90% of it's that. You're not following up enough or you're not showing enough gratitude. So when I was talking to my team today, again, we're going through our who's all referred us, like, hey, y'all reach out and bear hug them too. Like, well, gosh, you're freaking fantastic. You've done a good job. You sent us over five deals the last couple months. How the heck are you doing it? Thank you so much, right? Send out the cards. All those things can be done continuously, but if you don't do them, somebody else is going to come in and swoop them up. So our guest here is going to tell us how to swoop some people in. But ultimately, and it's also, I'm sure, going to show us how to talk about how to nurture and all these things that go along with it. But at the end of the day, if you don't follow up and follow through, like, I mean, you're just going to gather people and then they're just going to go back and you're just going to keep trying to get more. And you're just going to keep trying to get more, and nobody's going to be left and nobody's going to be staying with you for years. Now, we all know that people are going to leave us no matter how good a job we do, but can we get out of 10 people, can we gain 2 or 3 more people from follow through? Or are we just going to let those 2 or 3 people just slip by? And then we got to go work our butt off to get 2 or 3 more. So that's the lesson I have today. Deals are going good. I mean, we, got tons of pre-approvals here in Georgia, just getting outbid over here to like 80 to 7 offers at one time. So it's going to take a second to hit. But if I have any advice to give myself, and I have to continuously give myself, and I'll give you out there, just keep laying the foundation, just keep gaining the partnerships, keep following through. I've always said it's a 12-week process. Once you start, somebody says, yeah, I'm going to send you business. Like, you've got to continuously stay out that follow through and be there. I send video messages to people to help them grow. All those things I'm talking about doing and staying in front of them. And guess what? The monsoon at some point is going to happen. Okay. So it's work, but it's great. Isn't it great? Because listen, the moment it becomes easy, so easy for loans to go through, so easy to get partnership that you don't have to work at it, is the moment I'm like, oh crap, I'm in trouble because anybody can do it. Guess what? Ain't everybody can do this. That's why your average loan officer is doing 3 loans a month. That's why the big heavy hitters are doing 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 loans a month, because it ain't easy. They create a system. But guess what? They're pushing through barriers. And after a while, kind of like Casey Knowles said one day, you're doing 135 pounds, feels heavy when your max is 135. When you're doing 500, 135 is easy. You just don't recognize that being hard any longer. So just keep pushing through the barriers, keep adding the people you need to add, and it's going to take off. So anyway, that's all I got to before I get my guest on here and spit the fire that he needs to spit. And man, it's good to have you on here, Nick Carpenter. Got Nick Carpenter from Legion of Loan Officers, and love that you're on here. And what do you got for us, brother?
Yeah, man, thank you. It's an honor. I love your passion. You're obviously so passionate about helping people grow their business, and you know, and it's so interesting, right? When you can get into those moments and you can feel like you're talking to other people and you're talking to yourself at the same time. I saw it happen to you right now. It happens to me sometimes when I'm, dishing out. I'm sure the same thing will happen to me today. I'm like, man, I need to do that for myself. It's always interesting when you kind of see that in somebody else. That was cool. So yeah, man, I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, I'm honored you're here. Looking forward to learning from you. And yeah, you're absolutely right. When I'm sitting there talking about that stuff, when I'm coaching, sometimes like, oh, self-reflection, right? Like really good at that one time. I need to get back to that. So it's a continuous learning and growing process, right?
For sure.
So Nick, Legion of Loan Officers, do love the name, by the way, as you call it, Lolo, right?
Yep.
So you started a few years back. I know you've had a lot of growth there. What have you seen in how you've grown, how it's helped people in the lending business, and like how has that evolved over time that you've seen from yourself and from others?
Yeah. Yeah, so kind of like 30 seconds on how I got here. Basically, I came up as a Navy brat. My dad was in the Navy, and just seeing the camaraderie that he had with his Navy pals, I always loved that. I always loved it. My dad, he retired as a Master Chief. Um, I went active duty in the Air Force. Coming out of high school, basically my dad, he didn't want to pay for college, so he told me to figure it out for myself or go in the military. And so I guess I just followed his path because it seemed to be to make the most sense. And so really feeling that camaraderie again in the Air Force, it was awesome. But I knew that I wasn't a lifer. I just knew that inside of me that wasn't my path. And so I ended up getting out of the Air Force 2005 and really finding my passion again in real estate. And, I actually was a realtor, but I hated dealing with the buyers and sellers, actually. Which is tough to make money as a realtor if you don't want to deal with buyers and sellers. So I started basically having a referral company, got picked up by Keller Williams. I trained for Keller Williams. And then our in-house lender at the time, based out of Dallas, they were looking to create a corporate marketing team, and that's where I kind of put everything together, at a mortgage company, realizing if you teach loan officers real estate marketing, it's a great conduit to ripple out. That's always for me, my goal is to ripple out. I have a high level goal of serving 1 million people through the Legion. And it's a huge goal. It's probably going to take us 12 or 14 years or so to hit that goal based on our current path. But what's interesting is, when I look at what's the number one thing that somebody can be doing to grow their business, it's to actually create value. And I know that's sort of cliche right now when I say like, oh, somebody's like, oh, here we go, another guy talking about value. But what does that really mean? So I'll give you some like actual like street level examples on how you can create value. So number one for me is, can you teach classes or do something to assist referral partners? Like you talked about earlier, it doesn't only mean, a loan officer goes to a realtor or a realtor goes to a lender. There's so many options on who can be a referral partner for you in your business. Assuming that everybody listening to here is like loan officers, realtors, insurance agents, things like that. Well, number one, obviously that's the trifecta, right? The loan officer, realtor, insurance. If you don't have that triangle already established, as a loan officer, like where you have that kind of that effect, then you got to do that first. But then there's, like you already talked about, there's so many secondary people that are out there that can be potential referral partners for you, right? Outside of that, like you'd mentioned, divorce attorneys, financial planners. What about the number one reason people buy a house is because they're having a kid, right?
Yeah.
So what about somebody who works at like the baby store or the car dealership when they see people coming trading in the sports car for the minivan? Wait, oh, you're upgrading your car? I see your wife's pregnant there. Maybe you need to upgrade your house too. I'm going to connect you with my man, Adam. He's going to take care of you. right? And now you get those kind of referrals. What about the second most time people buy a house is when they're getting married, right? And so what about a jewelry salesman? Like, is there somebody in your town that you could connect with, an engagement ring guy? And same thing. Hey, I see you're upgrading those, that ring for your wife. Maybe we need to upgrade you need to upgrade your house too. And they can be able to put you in contact with people like that. So number one, it's like, how can you create value for those type of people? I like to teach marketing classes. What's your take on teaching classes like in a market?
I mean, I mean, I love it. First of all, I mean, that is my passion. I mean, I mean, that's why I'm doing a podcast too, right? I mean, it's just what I do. It's not very, it's not very challenging most of the times for me to get on and just talk and help people grow. So absolutely, I think it's, it is a huge value add, because when I go and I'm doing these events, people are like, oh man, he's different than a loan officer going, hey, and kind of like you said about buyers and sellers. I hate talking about mortgages, honestly, that much. Like, what? I just don't. It's not that fun. An FHA mortgage is an FHA mortgage on the FHA mortgage. Like it's literally like, and realtors, like, they'll say they care, they don't care.
Right.
And if you're out there in real estate, you don't care. Stop it. You don't care. Like, you just want, like, like, it's just boring. It's like, that's your job to know the real, so coming in and doing those class, I just never liked it anyway. So I was like, how can I not be like every other loan officer out there talking about FHA mortgages and a conventional mortgage? Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying you can't do some education, because I do that, but like, it needs to be limited. So yeah, I absolutely think it's big. That's why I'm doing my Power Four, and I got Dallas Hardcastle as well, with his boy, his copywriter, creating this. I've already done the video and creating this video to move the needle, to get people in the seats to my events, because one, people get a ton out of it. There's real estate agents like, whoa, I didn't realize I could grow my business like this when I come in there. So absolutely, I think it is. And you hit on a point. So I think the biggest mistake that people make, and maybe some of the people are in Lolo, they've come across it and they've done exactly what you're doing, or what I'm about to say, is when I do the events, I think the miss a lot of times is they're just trying to do it in a real estate office. I love putting them off site and getting other professionals. So the people you talk about, why can't you get a car salesman there? I had him, car salesman there, great car salesman at my events that he's sent me business, a couple actually, website designers, jewelry, right? And then have them in there to, of course, intermingle and really have a better networking opportunity there. I think you're hitting it, but I think everybody's like, well, let me go to a real estate office where they make me buy all their pizza, and they don't want to even listen to me anyway. Like, most times I'd rather have it off site. The people that want to be there are there, and I can get other people from other businesses there,
right,
that want to be there. And at one point, I kind of had almost a little bit of a cult following in Kentucky when I was doing them all the time before COVID hit, and brought that down. Is all these business professionals come there. And I think that's a good way to grow your business for sure.
Definitely. You mentioned Casey. I know he's been on your podcast as well, in Colorado. And Casey, it's an interesting story about him is that from his very first class that he ever taught, he had 22 agents that came to his very first class that he did as a in-person class before coronavirus. And he still to this day gets business from 10 of those 22 agents that came to that class. Awesome. I mean, epic. Right now, I think Casey's abnormally amazing, so most people probably won't get that same result of 50% retention over a year's time, but that's incredible, right? It's like, how many loans, how much has that class been worth to Casey to get business from 10 agents for over a year now? He's been getting business from those agents off of one marketing class. And it just goes to show that it's kind of like the whole thing, right? If you give enough people what they need, you're going to get what you need.
Yeah.
And that to me is what happens in these marketing classes, where if you can help realtors grow their business, you can help enough of them do that. Some of that business is going to trickle back down to you. It's only natural, because by teaching the class, you initiate the law of reciprocity. And I don't know what people's belief are on that, but I think that definitely exists, where
Yeah.
I can give you something, and you only naturally feel like you need to give me something, you know? Um,
Yeah. I mean, I
I
feel like
remember,
I personally feel like a prick if I don't. If I mean, like I mean, some people don't, because some people are pricks. I mean, out there don't care, but like most people are like, I want to give back. I mean, they just gave me something of value.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
exactly. When I first got into real estate in 2005, I worked for Ebby Halliday Realtors in Dallas, Texas. And my mentor, her name is Sharon Holman. And Sharon, one thing she taught me was always take a gift to a listing appointment. And she actually taught me about, there was these chips that are really delicious, Julio's chips, and they had their own salsa and stuff. So I found a lady in Fort Worth, Texas. She would white label salsa. So she made amazing salsa. You could get your own label. So I got like Nick's salsa.
Mm.
And so I would bring a bag of Julio's chips and some Nick salsa to the listing appointment. Now, I've given them a gift. The only gift they can give me really is the listing, you
Mm.
know? And so that's really where I kind of learned that process. But the same thing occurs from teaching classes. I think it's the most easiest way, it's the most leveraged way to go and create new referral partners, is teach a 1 hour class, invite everybody to that class.
Mm.
And maybe even if you have to do it online, right, with Corona, do it on Zoom.
Yep.
But it's such a way to use 1 hour of your time and get in front of 10, 20, 30 people, maybe more if you're doing it on Zoom, depending on where you're marketing it to. And, if you have 30 people on the Zoom, some of them are going to love you, some of them are going to hate you, some of them are going to be indifferent, but the
Mm.
ones that love you, you're just going to be pulling those people to you, and you're going to earn new referral partners every single time you do a class, So if
Yeah.
anything, it's like that's the number one value add in the marketplace, that to me, that anybody can provide, whether ideally you teach the class, but even if you're just a networker, right? Even if you're
Mm.
just a host and
Yeah.
you find somebody else that's smarter than you to come in and teach the class,
Yeah.
like you mentioned earlier, there's all kinds of smart people like web designers and photographers, videographers. There's a lot of local service providers that can bring value to realtors, insurance agents, local
Mm.
business owners. And so, yeah, it would be like, can you do a 1 hour class? That'd be number one thing I think anybody should take on.
No, you hit a lot of great points there. There's no doubt. I mean, every time I do one, I always gain partnerships out of it. I mean, the last ones I did, first of all, one of the guys, and he's probably listening to this, shout out if you know who you are. In the last event, he was there, and first of all, he's like, oh, wow, like I never looked at it that way, and we had some great back and forth, and then, I just went back to the well after a while. He said, well, first thing he said is, you're different than any other loan officer I've ever like come in contact with. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's right. I mean, I am. I'm trying to grow my business in a different way than just begging, quote unquote, begging for business, or, I want to do everything I can. And so guess what? He referred me two other real estate agents to have a conversation with. One, it went okay, kind of thing. It's like, you talk to someone. And by the way, out there, you're not going to be a fit for everybody. That's cool. The second person I talked to, we're like, dude, we're gelling big time. And so, yeah, I mean, but again, it's have the class. Casey, by the way, I'm sure he did an excellent job at the class. And then I'm sure you can just tell, like, I mean, I don't even have to tell me. You can just tell he's relentless, he's kind of got that relentless mentality, and just, I'm sure that he was like following up weekly, boom, boom. What'd you get out of the class? Anything else? Like, whatever, all this other stuff. And that's why he was able to net 10 people. And that's huge. I mean, absolutely. In every quarter, if you net 10 referral partners a quarter, that's 40 at the end of the year. I mean, what does that do for your business? I mean, my God,
Right.
So it's crazy. But yeah, teaching the classes, I know you have a lot of classes inside there in the Legion of Loan Officers that they can kind of plug and play. And you said another good thing. Like I brought in you ever heard of the Zillow killer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I brought him into an event like last year or first of the year and brought real estate agents in the same way. And of course, a couple of my coaching clients, I said, we can put on an event like me coming in to a different state, and I'll do an event, just invite everybody in. So absolutely, if you can't do it yourself, bring another speaker in. It gives you an opportunity to make a call for a reason and providing them value. And then you have the follow-up.
Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah. With live events, a lot of people think that the power is in the actual event itself, that the only power that comes from the event is, who attends, which is why you get people sometimes in their feelings if they invite 30 people, but only 6 people show up. They like sometimes like want to apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, it's such a low turnout, this kind of thing. But the actual power is in the invitation.
Yeah.
Right. The invitation is where you gain your power, because that just shows that you have the capability to teach the class, to host, you have that within your network. There's a lot of, it's a lot of demonstration that occurs in terms of like creating that value, being more authoritative than they are. It's a great positioning when you're inviting anybody, whoever you're trying to work with, when you're inviting them up into a class. And like you said, it's, tons of people have built their business off of, calling people on a Monday or this sort of thing. And in this case, if you're going to be doing a once a month class, it's an actual reason to call. And now that initial conversation is a better conversation. It's a more powerful one. And at minimum, you get at least 3 points of contact with most people, because you're going to get the invitation, the people that actually show up, and the follow-up. So in a lot of cases, just one class per month can be enough of a leverage point to really go and build a big business.
No, you hit on great points there. Absolutely. You're right. I mean, first, if 6 people show up, I've had better results sometimes on 6 than I've had on 25 people, because you have 6 that are really wanting to be there. And what if you landed all 6 that are going to send you business? I mean, are we really going to complain about you spent a few hours calling and making sure people were there? Let's just say you spent 4 hours to invite. You spent 4 hours to prepare. Let's even say you spent 10 hours to prepare. You have 14 hours and you spent 1 hour there. That's 15 hours. You got six people to send you business. And let's just say you got a total of 10 deals out of that for 15 hours. Let's just say you're making $2,000 a transaction. So you make $20,000 off of 15 hours. So, okay, do the math on that, right? So, I mean, still, that's lowballing, right? And that's probably, it's highballing how much time it took you. And, so you just got to look at like, how much money are you really making per hour to do that activity? And it's huge. So getting 6 people to send you business, and you get this right 6, again, that can multiply a lot more than that. Because if you're getting 6 people that are doing, let's say 6 real estate agents sending you one deal per month, then you got a lot more than that. And so that's just a low ball. And so I just, again, throw it out of your mind. But again, the invitation itself is a big thing, because you got a reason to call. And, I know you're against the whole, hey, let's call a whole bunch of real estate agents on Monday. I think I call a ton of people, real estate agents, on Monday, but it's not just to say, hey, what's up? Like, again, it's to invite them to something. It's to give them some kind of other coaching strategy thing. I don't think you just call to be calling. That's, I think, the biggest probably message you would have too. And I think, your thing is, because you're right. There's a lot of people that, and there's a lot of coaches, right? They don't really have much direction around it's just like, hey, just make a mass amount of calls. But like, there's got to be a reason to call, or and especially for call reluctance. Like, people are just like, where I think call reluctance comes in is you don't think you have any value, or there's no real reason to call other than like, I'm just going to ask Nick for business.
Right.
If I think I'm going to call you for business, I'm like, okay, I'm just calling you for business. And it's like, okay, I can call Nick for business, but then I can't call 40 Nicks for business. But I can call 40 Nicks for business, or call 40 Nicks on Monday if I'm calling to invite them to a class, because like, dude, you want to be at this class. Why the hell would I not want to call you? Like, you come to this class or not, buddy? I mean, it's badass. So, I mean, that's, I think the biggest difference, I would say. You can speak to that.
Yeah, 100% agree. You know, I mean, as a general statement, I'm not a fan of the Monday calls because it's realtors have been trained to expect the Monday calls now. So if you call on a Monday, really being honest, even with value, sometimes you can still get lumped in with the other people that are calling on Mondays. I mean, if you ask an agent, how many times did you get contacted on, you know, I mean, we're shooting this on a Monday. So ask, you know, if you ask agents today, this afternoon, how many times did you hear from a lender today? They'll all tell you multiple people. So it is, but definitely there's obviously a difference between calling and saying, hey, Adam, what happened for you this weekend? You know, any buyers I can help you with? Versus, hey, Adam, I'm teaching this class next Thursday. We're going to be talking about how to get more people to see your Facebook posts and create more business through Facebook. Is that something you want an invitation to? Yeah. Okay. See, I mean, that is a totally different kind of conversation. And that invitation is a powerful invitation, right? Those other calls to me are weak calls. And I think they affect you and your reputation in a weak way, in a weak, you know, I think they degrade your reputation when you're just calling, asking what happened last weekend. Is there something I can help you with? But calling and saying, hey, I'm going to be teaching a class. It's 100% value. There's nothing for sale. I just want to pour into your business. Do you want to come? Can I send you an invitation? Like that's a powerful phone call. And you're going to have a mind. To me, that moves you up in the mind of your buyers. You know, one of the things that I learned from a mentor a couple of years ago is the concept of demonstrating that you're in an upward spiral, right? And teaching classes is a demonstration that your life, your business is going up, or you wouldn't put yourself out there if your business was sucking and everything was going terrible for you. You just wouldn't teach classes. That's just an assumption, right? That you wouldn't do that. You're only doing that because things are going great and you want to pull more people along with you. So
Yeah.
when you look at, you know, for anybody listening to this, look at your own Facebook profile and ask yourself this question. Does my profile indicate that my life and my business is in an upward spiral, is stagnant, or it's in a downward spiral? Because one of those three things is true. Your profile translate one of those three messages. And do you translate that your life and your business is in an upward spiral? Because if you do, everybody wants to be associated with people in an upward spiral. Tiger Woods is a perfect example, right? And relevant today. Tiger, when his life is going amazing and he's the green coat champion, everybody wants to associate with Tiger. They want to post their picture that they took with him 10 years ago on Facebook. You know, they want to talk about the time they saw him in person. But now that he crashed his car and he was probably on drugs or drinking or whatever, you know, people again want to disassociate from him, right? Because now he's in a downward spiral. And so you have to look at those things as well. If you want people to be attracted to you and be associated and like wonder what you got going on in your life, always demonstrate that you're in an upward spiral. And to me, you know, teaching classes is a really, really easy way to do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. And that, yeah, that's, yeah, I think, you know, talking about being grouped in, definitely you always want to make sure that you're not grouped in with anybody in a negative fashion, which I think there's uh, definitely good at what you said there for sure. I think that, you know, if my advice would be anybody making calls on Monday is just, again, I think the biggest thing is just knowing why you're calling and like who maybe you should be calling that day, for example. So your real estate partners that already love you and stuff like that, still great to call on Monday because they want to hear from you. And then try to provide them some kind of value. For example, like mine, we talked about, you know, how much the interest rate is actually affecting the pre-approval, right? So like that's, people are like, oh, shoot, that, like there was really good responses because today, oh, that really helps me out. So we may want to revisit those pre-approvals and just kind of have that good conversation. You know, I always like to use the $6 per thousand. That was a really good one because, you know, like that's generally what is going to be the payment. So that, you know, they've really, but when you're talking about just new agents and calling every single week, maybe that's not what you do. Maybe you have some kind of cool video you send them or something like that, something that's going to stand out, maybe something a little different just to get their mind working. So I think the biggest thing is, I think we'd both be on the same page with going, okay, knowing why you're calling, in relation to what your relationship is with that person. And I think that's the biggest thing, is not maybe grouping them all into the same relationship.
Yeah.
Because you do need, no matter what the relationship is, you're going to have to stay in front of them. If they love you, you want to stay in front of them, because if you stop loving on them, they're going to leave you. Right? Like, it's like not taking care of your partner, right? You got to have to show something there. You have to do something. If you don't have much of a relationship, you're going to have to try to get in front of them somehow. If you have a relationship you're trying to build, you're going to have to stay. So just figure out what's going to work for you out there, and knowing what your relationship is with them right now. Don't just group them all in the same thing. And I always look at, like, okay, where's this relationship right now? I contact them last week. Do I want to contact them this week? No. I don't have to you just say, okay, I'm going to group them all in, and every single one of them's getting a call, or every single one of them's getting this. So it could be different people getting different things according to what your relationship is with them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's, like you said, just depending on the relationship, maybe you only need to touch them every few weeks, or and also in different ways. I mean, to me, I think the Monday call is, obviously it works, tried and true, especially if you have a reason for the phone call. But another thing that works really well as a second layer is if you do, I call them a Saturday morning video message. Yep. So basically on Saturday morning, shoot a quick video to the realtor just through Facebook message. If you go into any contact, if I go to your contact, I can go in, click the camera, you can hold that circle down and shoot a 20-second video. And the key with that is to say the person's name, so that they know that video was only shot for them, and not, oh, you sent the same exact video to 10 people. And if you don't say the name, that's kind of an assumption today, I think, in a lot of cases. But so, on Saturday, a great message, especially for loan officers, is like, hey, what's up, Adam? Man, I hope you do awesome this weekend. If you're out showing any buyers' houses, I hope you find them exactly what they need. If you get any new listings or new buyers, you need my help, just reach out to me, man. I'm around. And I like to do a little fist bump into the camera, like, psh, and just, it's just different, And so obviously with that, it's cool because they'll see your whole communication. They see your smile, your face, all your hand motions and everything. And then also you're gonna sit at the top of their Facebook message. So as they get new messages, they're gonna see you, at least throughout the morning of Saturday, if not the whole day, depending on how busy their Facebook message is. And eventually it'll work, because one day they're gonna need some help. Their number one person's not gonna be available, and they're gonna know that you are available, and you'll get the right to earn that business.
Yeah, I mean, so I think out there, look for a reason to call, look for a reason to follow up, look for unique propositions, being unique, always work on law of attraction, right? And I think that's mostly all what we're talking about. Everybody has a different thing. For me, it's really just, it's coaching people, and really, my brand says I do a lot of loans, but I coach and help people, and it's all the positive stuff, right? And so your thing maybe is something a little different, little cigars mixed in for me, but pretty much people know, what I'm about. Let them know what you're about. Law of attraction, but just be different than everybody else. Just make sure that you're not doing everything like everybody else. You all have your own unique way of doing things, your own unique style. I think one of my last podcast, Roland Cochran talking about, we lose some of our authentic nature sometimes because, we think we have to be a certain way. I think loan officers in particular are one way because I think loan officers really in their nature are kind of stuffy, right? Like I don't know if they were that way when they came in, or they just became that way over time, because that's what the loan officer mold is. But don't be so stuffy. Be cool. Be just have some fun with people, and be authentic. Uh, be engaging with people. Uh, there's go deep. Do the deep work. Kind of like Roland talked about last week. You have to do the deep work. Go deep with people. Have fun with people, and you don't know where you're going to get your business from if you connect with people that you really like. And so again, we talked about it. It's like how many times you need to follow up with certain people, or how you need to follow up with them. I mean, there's certain people like I don't ever follow up with them with the same message as everybody else, because like they'd be like, dude, you're being weird right now, right? Like we're supposed to be buddies, right? So work on the relationship to where it's you don't have to do that as well. So I think there's so many things to be said. So we're let's go in, because we've got to keep on schedule here. One, I wanted to ask you, like, what has been the biggest transformation in your career here in Lolo since you opened up to now? Like, what's some of that transformation process you've seen, and what maybe you've seen out of some of your clients?
Yeah. So for me personally, my biggest transformation has always come from investing and getting around people that are doing more than me, because oftentimes we all have a money count. We all have like a money, like what feels good to us, what feels like a lot of money, some of this kind of things, kind of like you talked about with Casey and the weights. If you live 500 pounds, 135 is like nothing. And when you feel like you're doing the best in your whole life, it can feel like that's amazing. But then if you get around people that are doing 10 times, 100 times things bigger than you are, you're like, wow, there's other levels. There's always other levels to this. So for me personally, it's always in investing. Is it scary sometimes? For sure, right? I would say over the last 3 years, easily we've invested 100,000, maybe 150,000 into different groups and masterminds and coaches and opportunities to learn. So my personal biggest breakthroughs have come from that. Actually, what's interesting is my number one biggest breakthrough that allowed my business. I had my first 6-figure month after going to an event in Puerto Rico. The event cost $4,000. It was a big deal, kind of. I mean, it was a good investment, right? It was like $6,000 total to get there between the hotels and airfare and everything. And it was actually a side conversation that occurred there where I heard this guy talking about how much he was spending on ads. And I knew how much I was spending on ads, which was like 5 times less than him. And so I said, well, if he's getting, if he's spending that much and making that much, I can probably do that too. And so I just ramped my stuff up, over, and it was really just like that money thermometer, right? For me at the time, spending $100 or $200 a day was a big deal. But hearing that this guy's spending $2,000 a day, and I'm like, man, it's kind of scary. I just think spending $60,000 in a month in ads, but it's just, it's just math really at the end of the day. And so that was me, for me personally. In terms of transformations, I mean, honestly, Casey Knowles has one of the best turnaround stories, because the guy moved to a brand new state, rented a house behind a Walmart, opened his company, Ticket Mortgage, and in his first full year of producing, did $50 million in production, with his company. Epic, story that he has. I mean, I love his story so much, that like I'm going to help him grow Ticket. It's an awesome story. And there's several like that. Actually, I just got one today that was really cool. A guy joined the Legion in January 2020, and he was working at a BMW dealership and basically trying to figure out how to become a loan officer full time. He got his mortgage broker's license. Fast forward a year, he joined the Legion January 2020. He, if you basically we're a year from that now, and he closed 11 loans last month. He's closing 13 loans next month. He has 2 full-time loan officers, 2 virtual assistants in the Philippines. He has his own office. Like, he's like living the life he wanted to have a year ago, when he was at this car dealership. This is what it's crazy. Sometimes we want things to happen in 1 month, and it's like, oh, I can't believe I didn't get all these results in 30 days. And it's like, yeah, but look what happened to this guy in a year. His life is forever completely different now, a year later. And that's what I'm in this for. Those are the transformations that like just make my heart glow and make me feel really happy. And I mean, obviously everybody likes money. It's a great tool. It allows you to have a good life and stuff. But for me, like, my real satisfaction at this point comes from those wins, and those kind of stories.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. That's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because I help loan officers too grow. And when you help them, make more money than they ever made and have freedom that they never thought they'd have. And that's just, and I can't even describe it. Like, I love helping borrowers get a home, it's great. But I tell you what, I think it's even more epic, man. When you take someone making, $50,000 a year and they're making 200 or 300 or 400, it's like, I mean, the life-changing things, and not just the money. It's just the options that go along with it. It's
Right.
Pulling back their hours and having more focused time. And that's about what my powerful is. Power 4 is energy, prospecting, marketing, relationships. And the energy really is the key integral part of that, because energy is life, and people's energy is getting sucked from everything else because it's not aligning with their why. They're working too many hours and they're not focused in on the time. And I always say this, like, it's not a work-life balance, it's a focused life balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? You can work 60 hours a week and be focused life balance and freaking be amazing at everything, right? Because you're focused when you're supposed to be focused and what you're supposed to be focused on. And kind of like we talked about the money calls, be focused on what's going to really grow your business and who you need to talk to, and focus on who you need to talk to. And man, if you have those things and you're able to grow, it's going to be epic. So I love what you're doing, man. I could see that, you're continues to grow your mindset and love your what you said of just like, that, if I could tell anybody out there too, listen to that conversation, what he just said. It was one conversation that just all of a sudden, boop, flipping the switch. And we all have those flipping of switches we have. I mean, Dallas Hardcastle, you know him really well. Like, he's flipped different switches with me several times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we partner together so many times on things, because he just thinks differently, right? Like, just kind of a different level, and he flips those switches. And we get around people that are going to challenge you on those things. And that, again, I love being in these conversations because you're better at a lot of things than I am. That's cool. I love that. And I love to have people on here that, wow, right? So continue out there to realize, like, there's much more to it. Don't be the strongest person in the town full of 200 people, right? Like, and it's like I remember when I was powerlifting, it was like, just because I felt like I was the strongest one in the gym, or strongest one, even before I even was in this epic little center we had for powerlifting, like, I knew there was stronger people out there, and we'll search out the stronger people and how the heck are they doing. And so it's not limited to people that are born innately talented. They align their vision or why, everything together, and they found people that are going to help them. It's not the how, it's the who that is going to get you there. The who do you have to align with that's going to flip your switch? Who do you have to align with that can help you do the things that you're not good at? I mean, Nick, I'm sure you suck at a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Within the low thing, low, if you had to do it all yourself, you would suck at it. Just like I would suck at everything if I was trying to do all that stuff. And I haven't read a tax document in forever, right? Like, because find somebody who's better at me, because I don't want to do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just go out there and crush it, guys. But anything you want to part with there, Nick?
No, I think that's, oftentimes we can feel like we already know everything. And the thing about it is that, especially if you're already at a high level in your business, it's easy to feel like an expert, like, you know, maybe there's people can't bring you more value in this kind of thing. Oftentimes I find that investing in yourself in different groups or coaches or programs, or just always there, obviously in people as well, just investing in people, that it always returns back to me in interesting, maybe not the way that I thought it was going to return back, but it just always returns back. It always returns back tenfold. So I always look for that, right? If you don't have a mentor, if you don't have a coach, if you're not part of something bigger than you today, then look for that. Look for who you align with and where you could fit in with something like that, to where you can just, have resources and different, ideas and mentalities. And, everybody's had different experiences. And if you can get around that, I think, I think that's huge. And, and the great thing is everybody's on a different path. you know um my path doesn't have to be the next guy's path, and your path isn't my path, all this. And just look, and there's always opportunities to be inspired and figure out a better way, a better way or a different way to do things. And I think too is, like, look at investing in your team, right? There's probably one person right now in your business that if you hire that one person, maybe it triples your business. Kind of along the lines of what you said about the who, not how, is like, who do you need to hire in your business that by hiring that one person allows you to go reduce your hours and double your business, right? Because that person probably exists. And just looking for those opportunities, as well as, having a team of really strong people, like you mentioned before, has been what has allowed me to really grow. Is not trying to do everything myself. When I was just a solopreneur, I was working with 3 people a month, 5 people a month, and just totally different than having a team and a real, having like a real, creating a real business.
Yeah, I know we got to wrap up. I think you hit some great points. And what I would say out there is, again, like, yeah, somebody that can double and triple your business. Like, I knew what I need to hire. And if you're out there a loan officer, like, this is the person you need to have. Like, I'm gonna give you the key. You have to have someone that handles everything, that handles the problems. If you're handling problems, you're talking to underwriters, you're freaking doing it wrong to really grow. Like, I hired someone, her name is Alicia. She's a badass. I tell her all the time she is. And she came in and I'm like, I'm not arguing with underwriters any longer. Like, I will not handle a problem that you are the solutions department, right? You're a solutions department. And so we as loan officers, and you as loan officers and entrepreneurs like you, Nick, you think like, okay, I got to handle all the problems, because if I don't, like, where's my value? There's so many values we have to give to our team to cast the vision. I would say, Nick, you're probably one of your biggest things is to cast the vision of what's going on. It's probably one of your biggest things that you do on Lolo and everything else, because you are the one that is driving that ship, right? Through your vision of what you're doing. Doesn't mean you have to go on there and sink your hands and get dirty every single project you have. So what I'd say as our loan officers, like, there's so many things you can do. You have ways to grow your business and not get stuck. But hire that person that is in do not stop until you hire the person that can double and triple your business. It can take over the ship for you. That if you don't have that in your business, there's somebody that really can just take it over, and you're just doing what you do to cast the vision, then you need to find that person. Um, anyway, that's what I got. So, um, Nick, been a pleasure. Looking forward to seeing the continuous journey that you're going to be on and grow and help loan officers grow. You out there, if you feel like Nick has spoke to you on how you can grow your business, and how, again, if that is someone you want to be aligned with, then give them a call. again, I don't bring on people here, just to make me look good, which certainly helps because I'm aligning with good people as well. But, if you want to reach out to, a Nick and use him for his low and you think he's going to grow your business, please do reach out, have the conversation. He has helped a lot of people grow their business, and maybe that's going to be your next ticket to helping you grow yours. So reach out to him, have the conversation with him, and you can find him pretty much anywhere. I mean, if you look up Nick Carpenter, it's not too hard, I don't think, to find him. So, or go to legionofloanofficers.com, correct?
Yep.
Hit him up, see if that works for you to grow your business.
Man, I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been an honor. I always like sharing time with people that are on a big on a big path, and I love what you're trying to do right now with the 150 loans in 1 year in a new market. I think it's incredible. So I'm going to be paying attention to that.
Yeah, appreciate it, brother. It's been a pleasure and honor. Remember, guys, limited risks equals limited income.